Hey guys, TazMo here, GM of the Dallas Fuel. I've been playing a lot of Valorant since open beta, and here are a few tips and tricks that I think will help you guys improve your game. So the tips we're going to be focusing on today is 1, selecting your agent based on your playstyle, 2, to really fit that playstyle into the team comp, and 3, just understanding the basics of team play and what it takes to win the game with the rest of your teammates. So first things first, we need to figure out what agent suits your playstyle best. If you're someone that likes to play aggressive, you probably want to look at someone like a Reyna or a Phoenix who is in their face, and you could even argue Raze is someone else that can entry in first. And then if you're looking for playing a little bit more passive and kind of holding sight and kind of waiting for them to come to you, you'd be looking at more characters such as a Cypher, a Viper, or also a Sage. All these characters have stalling techniques and abilities that are able to kind of slow down the pace and kind of can support the other players from the back. And last, if you want to be a bit more of a supportive character, such as Brimstone or an Omen, which have smokes and utility like this, these characters are definitely someone that wants to set up the rest of their team to either enter into the site. So your aggressive player like a Phoenix or whatnot like that will definitely appreciate the fact that you're throwing out some smokes to block off another entryway. So yeah, you're looking at things like Sova that give information to those entry players. You're looking at people like Breach who shockwave and flash out for your teammates to get in. So things like this will like I said, the playstyles definitely vary, and it's good to have a kind of an understanding of what all three kind of roles are and be able to kind of figure out what playstyle you want and then be able to play a lot of those different characters. You don't want to just be sitting and say, oh, I just want to play Brimstone. So, like I said, I think it's very important to kind of find your playstyle, and if you're an aggressive player, find maybe your main hero that you like the most, but also have backup heroes, because when you go into character select, you may not get that hero. Now, if you don't understand your playstyle from, say, other games or whatnot, I would definitely recommend just going into game and playing a few games and see what characters you just like generally, like see what you like of their kit. Also maybe just watching some streams, some YouTube videos as well that show the kit of the player and see if that playstyle just seems fun to you. Because at the end of the day, the games are meant to be fun at the starting point, and if you're enjoying the character you're playing, you're going to probably want to master it and really understand each part of it. I do feel though it's very important to play every character just so you understand what their kit is about and what their strengths and weaknesses are. Because knowing that in game, you can then utilize your character's kit to maybe counteract the others. So for tip 2, this is where we want to round out your team comp. Make sure it kind of makes some sense when you're going into game. This can depend on map, depending. However, I will want to say that it's pretty important to have like at least one agent with a smoke ability, something that can block out sites especially if you're pushing or if you're trying to hold off a choke, because it's very important to have that ability. So at least having either a Brimstone, an Omen, or even a Jet who can offer some smokes too, offers that utility to your team. I do then also think it's important to have at least one person that's willing to go in first, and have the kit to go in. So something like a Reyna, who's very strong right now, with her Leer ability is incredibly important, or something like a Phoenix, or even a Raze who's able to kind of go in there with her nade on one side and then push into the other side. After you've made those two decisions, I think then you just want to see what your team wants to do. If they want to play hyper aggressive, maybe you have more aggressive characters. If you want to play more passive and be able to hold a site with one character, then you maybe want to go for a Cypher. If you want to just play a bit slower as well, you may want to have like a Sage for Ice Wall and the healing ability. These things are all kind of up to you guys. Me personally, I like to have a wide range. I like to have a lot of utility. I like to have a Breach on my team who's able to just breach on through and push in. I like to have a lot of smokes, so I like to have a Brim. But also, I think Sova is someone that's very undervalued sometimes and can give amazing information to the rest of your teammates. So yeah, it really depends at this point where you want to go with it, but I definitely recommend at least having one character with a solid set of smokes and one character with a solid way of entering. And then after that, it's really about how you want to support it based off of like everybody else's strengths in their characters that they know. So one example of a well-balanced team comp would be something like Brimstone, Reyna, Sage, Sova, and Cypher. So first off, when you get into the game with your teammates, you want to say where you're going to be holding it on defense. It's very important to kind of say, what site you're going to be at, and depending on your character, for instance, if you're playing Cypher, you're able to maybe hold a little bit more than most. So you can say to your teammates, hey, I've got A, for instance, with all my traps and my utility. However, you want to make sure your teammates and everybody understands of where everybody's going to be, and that way you're able to hold defensively and be able to call out what exactly they're pushing, and make sure you're able to gather the amount of information to hold an attack from the other team. One other thing when you're defending, trading is not really ideal, and by trading I mean, if your teammate gets killed and you try and trade, and it's, the less defenders you have on the site, the more likely it is for them to take the site and get the bomb down. However, being able to, understanding when to kind of give up a site is very important, because for Valorant specifically, you're able to use so many abilities and utility to retake a site as defenders, and this is a huge advantage because most of the time on attack, they're going to be having to use a lot of their utility just to get into the site. So it's not a bad thing to sometimes, sit back and let them kind of take the site, and therefore kind of, use your abilities to kind of push back into the site. For instance, if you have a Sage and you're able to keep your wall, maybe you can wall up and block something away from the attackers that are holding the bomb site. Obviously, you're on a timer then, so yes, still getting those kills when they come in would be ideal, but if you feel like you're in a sticky situation, you need to get out of it, you can come back and ask for a retake and set that up there. So going into the attacking phase, the idea is you want to set up your attack, you want to talk about where if you're playing someone like a Brimstone, you want to tell them exactly where you're going to put your smokes and set them up, and that allows your entry fragger or someone like your Reyna to know where to put her flash and be able to push into the site. Another thing that's important is, since you do have the bomb, you don't want to, the person with the bomb does not probably want to be the first in, because if they get traded out and killed, they are going to drop the bomb, therefore allowing the defenders to all rotate out. You want to kind of be able to set up in a position where you can isolate the 1, 2, or 3 defenders that are on the site potentially, and be able to eliminate them and get the bomb down safely. This is used from a lot of your supportive abilities, from your Sova, who can dart in and see where the enemies are at, and also using things like Brimstone and Sage slows and stuff like that to really isolate the players and allow the people to come in and get the kills. One other thing I want to mention is on attack, or in general, make sure you're trading with your teammates. And basically that means if your Reyna goes in first, the second person needs to be right there to trade the kill if they are taken out by the defender. If you do not do that, that just allows the defending team to get reset up and ready for the next 1-on-1 instead of it. It's meant to be a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-1. You're meant to kind of overwhelm the opponents, get those trades in and get the bomb down fast before the rest of the defenders can come in and rotate out and be able to push you off the bomb again. So that was my tips for Valorant today. Hopefully you guys learned some stuff. Like I said before, this isn't law, and there's definitely some things you can do differently here and there. It all depends on your playstyle and what you'd like to do. Try these things out, see if they help you. If they do, I hope they allow you to rank up in your games. Anyways, that's it for me. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.